All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn, which is the 10-3 goal strategy, how to achieve your goals faster and easier. And for those of you who have a best planner ever, I've been getting some emails of people going, hey, Jennifer, in the 2019 planner, I'm seeing this thing with this little checkbox that says, 10-3 goal strategy updated. What is that? And so this training is going to absolutely answer that question in depth. But we're also just going to be talking about the 10-3 goal strategy because it really is just a super simple, fast, and effective way to start meeting your goals faster and easier. All right, so without further ado, my name is Jennifer Dawn. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, and now's a great chance to get to know me. I'm a business mentor and coach, and I'm also the founder of the Best Planner Ever. And I've created this free training because I want to share this goal strategy method that I've created. And, anything to do with goals, it's not like anything is ever like brand new, but we always try and find new and unique ways of using the information to help people move further faster and be able to achieve their goals. And so that's our intention with this training today. So welcome. I know time is short and I really appreciate you taking the time and spending it with me. So to get the most from the 10-3 strategy, these are some things that will help you. And if you have not already done them, it's totally okay. We've actually created other trainings around these. We've got a lot of tools and resources. But for the goal strategy piece, it's kind of like step 3 in the whole process of when we look at achieving our goals. And step 1 is going to be to make sure that you have a clearly defined vision. Now, if you don't have a clearly defined vision, it's okay. Everything that you're going to learn today is absolutely going to help you. But when you have a clearly defined vision, remember, vision is your direction. It's the direction that you want to head in. And it's super important to spend time in this area. We actually did a couple months back a active visioning training, which walks you through creating a vision. So that's available to you as well. So if you need any help around creating your vision, you can absolutely go find that free training. I'm actually just about wrapping up our virtual workshop. Our virtual workshop is a hands-on 4-part workshop. And in part 1, I actually walk you through step-by-step creating a vision. So if you do need help in that area, there are some resources available. Once you've got the vision, step 2 is going to be to create goals that are specific and measurable around the vision. So you start to take the vision and create basically almost like a map of, all right, well, here's now how I'm going to achieve it. Once you've got specific and measurable goals, the next step is going to be this goal strategy piece, okay? And just make sure to get the most from all of this that you're using the tools that we've provided. You'll find, for those of you who know me, I'm a big fan of tools. Like, I don't like to just sit around and talk about stuff. I like to actually have tools in my hands so that I can actually do something and take action. So be sure to take advantage of all the tools that we've provided, and there are a lot of them. And finally, don't expect to be perfect at this the first time out of the box, right? Nobody's perfect, not even me. Just toss that out the window. You're going to have a whole lot more fun if you just let yourself have fun with it, take your time, and don't worry about trying to be perfect. All right, so let's hop into strategy. Strategy is really the missing link. This is the piece that so many people, they overlook. They don't understand, they don't know how to do it, and often this is the reason why we fail on meeting our goals. There's a reason why 93% of people fail to meet their New Year's resolutions. It's a terrible statistic. When you think about it, only 7% are actually successful. Well, I believe that a big reason why so many people fail is that they don't do the strategy work. And what is the strategy? It's really just the planning, okay? The planning. There's a great quote by Dwight Eisenhower: plans are nothing, planning is everything. And if you don't know the difference, that's okay, but there definitely is a big difference. And to give you a quick analogy, if you want to go to the grocery store, you could say, all right, I'm going to the grocery store. And you've basically made a plan, right? You're going to get in your car and you're going to drive and you're going to be at the grocery store. But if you want to make that trip to the grocery store actually be really, really successful, you're going to need to do some strategy work, right? Some planning, some pre-planning before you actually go to the store. You're going to want to plan out your meals for the week. Maybe you're on a special diet, so you've got to make sure you get the right foods and you avoid the wrong ones. You're going to want to get your coupons. You're going to want to get your reusable grocery bags, right? You're going to want to do these things ahead of time to set yourself up for success, because if you don't do that at work, sure, you can go to the grocery store, but you're probably not going to buy all the food you need, or you might buy too much food and spend too much money, and then things go to waste. You might end up having to make multiple trips because you didn't plan, right? So that's really all we're doing. We're just kind of doing that planning and strategy work before we try to accomplish our goal or before we try to go to the grocery store. That's really what it is. So this is, as I mentioned before, the part that I think that most people miss, and it's about thinking all the way through your goal before taking action. And this is something that I used to do all the time. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go do this, and I would just get busy doing it. And now, before I ever get busy, I spend so much time like thinking through it, thinking through every element of it, so that way when I do finally get to the piece of like I'm getting busy, I find that the goal, it falls out so much faster. It falls out so much easier. I'm so much more successful. I'm so much more productive with my time. I get so much more done because so much of it has been pre-thought out ahead of time. And I've really done the work to kind of clear my path for success. It actually takes a lot less time to do that thinking work ahead of time than it does to just launch into the goal, start getting busy, and then you find, oh, I did that and I didn't have to, or I found an easier way, now I've got to redo it, or this work I did, oh, I didn't really have to do it, right? And you end up going back and redoing, and your error rate is a much, much higher. Now, with the strategy work, you want to do this often. It's not like I did it once and now I'm done. This is something you want to do often. And this is why I have that checkbox in the 2019 planner at the top of every My Month page, as it says, you know, the little checkbox, did I update my 10-3 goal strategy? Okay. So at a minimum, try and update it monthly. Now, I am going to run through the how behind strategy. And for now, just listen. You're going to get a link to this recording. You can re-listen again, okay? I don't want you so busy taking notes that you miss a lot of these questions, okay? So remember, you're going to get a link to this recording, and you're going to get the worksheet. And in the worksheet, a lot of these questions are already written down for you. So don't stress if you can't, you know, take enough notes. Just listen for now, and this is what I really want you to take away from this is the how behind that strategy piece. So again, you're going to get the strategy worksheet, which is a free download. It's on our website at bestplannerever.com/welcome. You're going to find a bunch of free resources on there, and the strategy worksheet is on there. You're also going to get it in an email with a link to this recording. If you have some blank paper that you want to grab, if you do want to take a few notes, that's okay. I just don't want yourself driving yourself crazy with it. So in the strategy work, there's a series of questions that you want to ask yourself around your goal, okay? These are just some to get you started. If you find there are other questions that pop up as we go through this that are more specific to your goal, fantastic, all right? Feel free to tweak this as you see fit because your goal is going to be specific to you, but this should be lots of good stuff to get you started. Okay, so at this point, you have a goal that you have defined. Hopefully it's specific and it's measurable, but before you get busy actually starting on the task to achieve the goal, these are the questions that you want to ask yourself. First of all, am I out of my comfort zone, right? You want to push the envelope on your goals because challenging goals absolutely are going to lead to higher performance. However, if the goal is unreachable, it's actually going to have the opposite effect and it's going to act as a demotivator. So you want to make sure that this goal that you've set for yourself kind of falls in between, all right? We want it to push you out of your comfort zone, but not so far that it's like it's just going to become impossible to achieve. The other thing that you want to ask is, you know, how do you handle being uncomfortable? Some people don't handle it well when they're out of their comfort zone. And if you're one of those people, you know, you need to make sure that you're setting yourself up with tools, with people, with resources that are going to be able to support your growth. So this can be a hard question to ask yourself, but how do you handle being uncomfortable? And if you don't handle it well, it's not about judgment. It's just about recognizing, oh gosh, you know, I have a hard time being out of my comfort zone. And then what would help me? What do I need to surround myself with so that if I'm out of my comfort zone, it's going to be okay. I'm still going to feel safe. I'm still going to stay motivated. What do you need to surround yourself with to be able to do that? Next question is, do you know your next step? because goals are often useless unless they are really broken down into smaller, actionable steps. And I'm going to take that a step further. Those smaller steps need to be prioritized. Those of you who know me know about the A task, ABCs of productivity. So you want to make sure, and if you don't, there's some videos on Facebook and some other trainings about the ABCs of productivity. And so the steps that you have to take to achieve your goals should always be prioritized. You should not be working from just a massive to-do list. That's a mistake I used to make long ago, where I would just like put more things on the list so I could cross them off, because yes, I'm one of those people who loves to cross things off. But what happens is you end up crossing off easy C tasks, and what we want to be crossing off are those important A tasks, and the B's, of course. Focus each day on whatever your next step is. And the question, do I know my next step? So this is a question when you talk about strategy is, do I know it? Well, if it's yes, fantastic. If it's no, then you've got a little bit of work to do to figure out what that next step is going to be. And obviously it should be whatever the next thing is on your prioritized list. If other people are involved, so let's say you're a business owner and you have a team of people, and part of achieving this goal means you're going to be delegating it to other people. You need to make sure that you know that your people know what their next step is. Okay? Do you know your next step? And remember, this is all part of the strategy, the pre-planning work of making sure you and anybody else involved knows what your next step should be. What's the right time to set my goal? They did a survey and found that 80% of business owners don't track their goals, and 77% of leaders have not achieved their company vision, all right? And that's a sad fact, right? It's sad. And so when you're asking yourself, like, what's the right time to set your goals? Sometimes you might be finding that you're like, oh, maybe after a birthday or for New Year's resolutions, you might be putting it off until then. And what I want to say is, don't wait for that right time. You want to start taking action today. So when we're planning out our strategy, we want to make sure we're not like procrastinating and waiting for that quote right time. Look at this and say, okay, what actions can I take today to get forward momentum going on the goal? What's holding me back? This is a great question. What's going to stop you from achieving this goal? How can you clear your path for success? When you stop to think about it, like maybe it's resources, maybe it's how your time is, maybe you need to say no to something. Maybe you have somebody in your life who, you needs to be eliminated, who is holding you back. Whatever it is, ask the question, what's holding me back? What's stopping you? And you're going to just want to jot that down so that you've got it on paper and you start to become aware of it, because once you're aware of it, then you can do something about it. What does a successful outcome look like? This is a great question to ask yourself for each goal, all right? Start with the end in mind. What does it look and feel like when you've achieved this goal fully and completely? And if you think about that for a second, it's so clear, it's so important to get clear on the outcome. What are you actually after by achieving this goal? What are those major milestones that helped you to get there? How is my goal measurable? All right. It's easy to say, I want to lose weight. All right. But that's not really measurable. You want to say, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 90 days. Okay. That's specific. That's measurable. I want more money. Okay. But how is it measurable? I want to save $10,000, or I want to eliminate $5,000 in debt. That's specific and that's measurable. So when you're looking at your goal, ask, how is it measurable? And if you need to revise it a little bit to make it measurable, then you absolutely want to do that. What changes do I need to make? So this could be around maybe some bad habits you have. Maybe you have a bad spending habit, or a bad eating habit, or a bad, self-talk habit. Do you need to change the story that you're telling yourself? And we've done I've done many trainings on this about changing that story that you're telling yourself, because mindset is absolutely a critical component of success with your goals. Maybe you've got some trauma or something emotional that's going on right now that you need to get some help around. Maybe you need a therapist or a healer or a coach or somebody to come in and help you heal something so that you can see, forward success with the goal. So this is where it's about taking an honest assessment of where you're at and what you need help with. And I have to say, some of these questions can be really hard to answer depending on the goal, depending on where you're at. So if they're hard to answer, it's okay. Just breathe right through it. But the important part is to do your very best in actually answering all these questions. Do I need to eliminate any toxic elements? Are you surrounded by people or places that are toxic, that are dragging you down? Do you need to get rid of those? Do you need to put some people in place who can actually lift you up when you're down? Who can you call to lift you up and keep you motivated? This is where, maybe you're trying to lose weight and your best friend, anytime you're having a hard day, your best friend is like, oh my gosh, I love you. Let's go get Ben and Jerry's. And it's not that, that's great. That's what a best friend should do. But that best friend, that's not going to help you meet your weight loss goal. And so this can be a toxic element. It's not that you need to eliminate the best friend, but maybe you call somebody else when you're having a bad day because that best friend is going to sabotage your success with your goals. Same could go for money and spending in your business. Maybe you have a toxic employee. I see this all the time that they totally need to go, and for one reason or another, they're not going, and they can start to sabotage your success. So definitely look at any toxic elements that need to be eliminated. Do I need any additional education or skills to accomplish the goal? Maybe these are skills that you need to acquire, that maybe you need to go take a class or you need to read a book first so you can learn what you need to learn in order to be able to complete the goal. If you are a business owner, or maybe even if you're in corporate, maybe there's somebody you need to hire who has the skill set. If it's not a skill set that you want to acquire, but you need somebody on your team who has those skills, maybe you need to get them in place first before you try to accomplish the goal. All right, maybe there's a certification. So are there any additional skills, education, or resources that you need before you can complete the goal? Do you have an emergency action plan, right? If you're alive and breathing and you've tried to accomplish goals, that you're going to be challenged in some way. And so just know that it's going to happen. I always like to say, just kind of know that all hell can break loose. And when it does, here's my action plan, right? Here's what I'm going to do. And if you can actually spend some time making the plan before it happens, then when it does happen, you're going to be prepared. You're going to get back on track so much quicker. And some of the things that an emergency action plan might include, let's say there is some bad habit there, right? Replace it with something else. So let's say that you get into a big fight with your partner, and normally when you get into a fight, you go and you totally binge eat, right? So instead of binge eating, replace it with walking. Right? Find something else to do to replace the bad habit, because to just not do it anymore is going to be near impossible. But if you've got a plan and okay, I just got into a fight with my partner, I'm going to go for a 60-minute walk, and then after 60 minutes, I'm going to reassess. Now you've got a plan, and now you've got something to do, right? It's about having tools in the toolbox. Maybe you need a good support person, somebody you can call that can lift you up. So hey, I'm going to get challenged like this. And when I do, I need to have a support person in place. Maybe when you get challenged or you're feeling really stuck, you want to use a tool like a momentum grid, right? This is something that's in the Plan Your Best Life ebook, the momentum grids. They are so great for getting unstuck and getting back that forward momentum. You can use focus wheels. We've done a training on that. If you're not sure what focus wheels are, there's a free training about that, okay? It's just about having these tools in place so that when things go haywire, you have a tool that you can be putting into place instead. Again, the reminder, you're not going to be perfect at it, and that's okay. Just keep setting the intention, and you're always going to be getting better and better each time. But ask yourself, when you're going to be challenged, what's my action plan? What's my emergency action plan I'm going to put into place instead of falling off track? Who can you surround yourself to help you succeed? We've talked about this a little bit already. Do you need an accountability group? When you look at this goal, and especially if it's a goal you've been trying to achieve for a significant amount of time, like if it's been longer than a year and you still haven't achieved it, then it might be time to really add an accountability group or an accountability partner. Sometimes just having those people invested in your success that you've got to show up every week and report to the group can absolutely be the difference between success and failure. Maybe you need a coach. There's lots of coaches all over the place: business coaches, life coaches, health coaches, financial coaches, right? They're all over. A mentor, a mastermind group, a therapist, a healer. It really doesn't matter, but make sure that you surround yourself with people who can help you succeed. And I know that's a lot of questions, you guys, but they're really good questions. And when we talk about strategy, this is how you do the strategy. You basically run through these kinds of questions about each goal first. And I would suggest that you never start attacking your goals, right? Until you have that clear vision, you've created those specific and measurable goals, and you've done this pre-planning strategy work. Okay. And we've got a worksheet. Okay. So a lot of those questions are already on the worksheet. So don't sweat it. But this is why we've created the worksheet, so that they're all on there. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Once you answer all of these questions, now you've kind of pre-paved out what you need to do to be successful with the goal. So the next step is going to be to brainstorm the tasks, the actual tasks, right? This is the part that a lot of people put first, is they're like, hey, this is the goal I want to achieve, and so here's the stuff I need to do, and I get busy doing it. So we're going to flip the order. You want to do the strategy and the pre-paving work first. When you do that work, you're probably going to find you're going to be creating another list of things that you have to do, that you need to probably do first before you get busy trying to achieve the goal. All right, so that's the order. So now, once you've got all the pre-paving work and those tasks lined out of these are the things I need to do to set myself up for success, now you can start to brainstorm, okay, now these are the things or the projects that I need to do to actually complete the goal itself. So when you look at all those things that you need to do to complete the goal, this is where you can brain dump all those action steps that are required to complete the goal. And I like to just put it all on a piece of paper, right? There is the brain dump worksheet that you can use. If you have a 2019 planner, there's a brain dump worksheet at the beginning of every my month. So every tab for every month, there's a brain dump worksheet in there. You can also get one in the Plan Your Best Life ebook. In chapter 6, there's the brain dump chapter. And there's a worksheet there. It's an ebook, so you can print as many of them as you need. And so on the brain dump worksheet, you just put it all on paper. All these things are the things I need to do to accomplish my goal, but then prioritize them into the ABCs. That's the piece that people miss. So these are all the things to do. Now I'm going to say, what are my A's? What are my B's? What are my C's? So that you can then go and start to tackle the A's, all right? The A's and the B's are the ones that we really want to focus on, and the C's can kind of work themselves out as time is available. This is the process that you want to repeat for each and every one of your goals. And I suggest that this isn't just me, this is, any kind of goal person or time management person is going to tell you. Some of them are going to say just have one big goal at a time. Some of them are going to say, 5 to 7 goals. I've heard a lot of different things. I like to say focus on 1 to 3 goals at a time. I don't really care so much about the time frame. It doesn't have to be a 90-day goal. Sometimes we have goals that are 2 weeks, and sometimes we have goals that are 30 days. But I like to say focus on 1 to 3 goals at a time. As you accomplish them, you can always replace it with the next most important goal. That's totally fine, but do try to keep it to just a few. I generally like to have a work goal I'm working on and a personal goal I'm working on. When I start getting over 2, then I start to get a little overwhelmed because I'm super busy. But I find that if I'm just focusing on one, career, professional, business goal and one personal goal, that seems to work really, really good for me. But find what works good for you. When you do this pre-paving strategy work, you're probably going to end up with 2 lists of things to do, the pre-paving list and the actual things to accomplish the goal list. It's totally okay. Just put it all together and prioritize it. Now these are the things I need to do first to clear my path for success, and then these are the actual action steps I can take to complete the goal. Now, once you've done that, right, then comes the 10-3. It's after you've done the strategy work, you have a clear prioritized list of what you're going to do, then comes 10-3. And here's what 10-3 is. It's 10 minutes, 3 times a day. And that is going to be the A task, which is in your planner. If you have a 2019, you're going to see I actually put A, B, C, D now. It used to be in 2018, it was top priority, but now it's the A task. And you'll see that the A task, there's 3 lines, right? I did this specifically because of the 10-3 strategy, 10 minutes, 3 times a day. That's why there's only 3 lines there, okay? Now, be fluid with it. This is just a guideline. Some days you might do 1 30-minute task. Some days you might do 2 15s. That is totally okay. There are some days where I've done my A task, it's opened up a new opportunity, and I've got to follow up and do a piece of work or something around that new opportunity. So my A task becomes doing whatever I need to do to capitalize on the new opportunity. And that's okay too. Just be fluid with it and make sure that you are knocking out hopefully 3 10-minute tasks every single day. That's where 10-3 actually comes from. That's the design behind it, because even the busiest person, we can usually find at least 30 minutes a day to really work on moving our goals forward. And the beautiful part, it's like a dial. Even if you can't find 30 a day, maybe you can find 20. If you can't find 20, you can find 10. If you can't find 10 minutes a day to work on your goals, you have other problems and you need to call me and we'll figure it out. But you should be able to at least find 10 minutes a day to really work on your goals. And this is how it works. Forward momentum, because every single day you're taking a small step. Ideally, that step is outside of your comfort zone, right? Because you've set a goal which is a little bit outside your comfort zone. You're pushing forward because you've lowered the bar to 10 minutes 3 times a day. It becomes easy to succeed instead of this huge 3 hours a day I need to work on this goal, which can be very overwhelming. You've lowered the bar. You've made it easier on yourself to succeed by breaking it down into little small steps that you can take every day. If opportunities arise, you can skip a day because you're working on whatever the opportunity is that day, and that's okay. And you always come back and you keep going every day. You just keep going, moving forward 10 minutes 3 times a day. Do your thinking on paper, which is the planning worksheet that you're going to be able to download. You can print multiple copies. You can mess it up. Like, do all that thinking on paper. On my desk, I have my goal strategy worksheet, and right next to it, I have my planner. Those are the 2 things that sit on my desk because I can scribble and move everything around on the strategy worksheet, and then I can transfer my ABCs into my planner when I sit down to plan out my day. This allows me the freedom and the flexibility to work on what I want to work on, but also always make sure I'm moving those goals forward. But I've already done all the thinking around it. So all I have to do is look at my strategy worksheet, look at the next top priority, move it into my planner, and off I go. Even if you're having a bad day, even if you're having a busy day, you're still going to keep your forward momentum going by using this strategy. Okay, so for those of you, if you want to dive deeper, you're going to be getting the strategy worksheet. There are other free training tools and resources. If you go to bestplanerever.com/welcome, just go to our welcome page. You're going to see a bunch of these resources listed there. Join our Facebook group, which is bestplanerever.club, not .com. Just go to bestplanerever.club. It'll take you right to our free Facebook group, and we always upload all these training resources in the Facebook group. If you need an accountability group, come join a Success Circle. This is a weekly accountability group that we've set up so that if you need that help and support, we're providing it. I'm also going to start doing workshops in January, 1-day planning workshops where you come in and we're going to walk through how to do the vision, the goals, the strategy, and the daily planning. We're going to do all of it together so that way you can come in for 1 day and just focus on it and walk out of there with a tangible action plan, like right in your hands. You also could get the Plan Your Best Life ebook, and many of these resources are included in there as well. So those are some ways for those of you who want to dive deeper into the goal strategy. All right, you guys, that's it for now. I'm going to stop this recording. For anybody who has live questions, we're going to take those next.